Hi, I wanted to talk about past life issues. Now, in my books, I've written 4 books. I mention it in each of my books. And each time I say, look, you don't have to believe in past life theory to be good at animal communication. So if past lives aren't interesting to you, then that's fine. But if you're interested in it, the book I'd recommend that you read, if you have not already, is my book called Beyond Words. Because in that book, I tell stories from clients and students and friends and family members about their experiences with animal communication. And of course, stories are the proof that we have. Because when you get something that there's no other way for it to have been real except through an intuitive process, then you know that it's proof. And a lot of the stories in that book, in the chapter on death and beyond, are people who felt that their animal had returned to them and they were sure of it based on a behavior that could not have happened any other way. For example, one person had a dog who she adopted, and the dog, when she got the dog home, had never been in a house before, ran into her house, ran into the kitchen, sat at the kitchen table, waiting for them to come in. And anybody who knows dogs knows that there's no dog that would do that normally. That's not, especially if they've never been in a house. But that was the trick that her daughter had trained their dog, who had died, a few months previous. This was a puppy that she got, had trained that dog to do that trick. So she was sure that the dog was showing her, hey, I'm back. Now, you can deny that. It doesn't really matter, because in the end, there's no way to really prove things about past life. And that's one of the things that I say in my training, my master program training, and in all the work that I do with the public is, look, if you can't prove it, then you can't say it's right. No matter what you get, no matter how strongly you feel about it, if you can't prove it, you cannot claim that it's accurate. So I don't claim that past life things are accurate, because there's really no way to prove it. But I can say it's pretty compelling based on the evidence. And so one of the things that I want to tell, which I haven't ever put in a book, because it's about my own experience with past life issues, and possibly something that a lot of people would find interesting or wouldn't be able to believe in. But I thought I'd share it here. So it's a story about my experience when I was starting out. I think it was about 1991 where I was going, I really need to do this full time. I need to get off the fence and do this. And I knew I needed to write a book, and I needed to. But I realized at the time that I was feeling like, yeah, but I don't want anybody to know what I'm doing. And then I thought, well, how can that work if I want to do this as a business and I don't want anybody to know what I'm doing? That's not going to work. And one of my friends said, why don't you go to a past life regressionist and see if this has something to do with past life? And I thought, well, what the heck, I'll try it. And it was really interesting. I went to someone who was really skilled, and of course I can't remember who it was now, but anyway, and she more or less hypnotized me and then said, now tell me about other lifetimes when you did animal communication. And the first thing that came to mind was an image of me as a young boy in Ireland with a hawk on my arm. And I was talking to the hawk, and I thought that's perfectly normal. And she said, okay, that's not the lifetime we need to look at. And they said, go find another lifetime where you did this. And then I saw myself as a woman somewhere in Europe. And it was like the 1400s is what I got. And I had been killed. I had been stabbed in the back for being an animal communicator. And my husband had turned me in. And she said, yeah, that's the one. And then she said, okay, so in this lifetime, that's not going to happen to you. You can just let that go now. And so then when I finished with that session and I came back, I was like, you know what? I'm not worried about it anymore. That must have been what I was worried about, because all my fear about doing this and being, having people find out went away. Now, it's true that people will make fun of you for doing this, but my fear was really more irrational. It wasn't just, oh, people are going to make fun of me. So this for me was very telling example of how working with past life information can help you heal and can help animals heal. So it's something that you can actually work with the animals on their past lives to help them get over issues they have in this life. So that is my past life story, and you won't see it published anywhere, so I hope you enjoyed it.